5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglush for the WDMA, and we can only take 15 minutes tops today, so I'll probably shoot for 10. So let's start with Tom Fishburne, writing an SEO word soup. What's the secret to great writing? Keywords that rank well. Repeat them over and over again. Test a title that gets the most clicks. Use lots of internal links. Don't forget image and title tags. What about the actual writing? Oh, AI will take care of that. Right? So Jano Andersson, former head of SEO at Yoast, gave a talk on the state of content marketing, and he said when the same search engine optimization checklists are used by everyone else, you're going to get a pool of lookalike articles. The actual writing is often treated as an afterthought. And I wonder, I look at the SEO rules as a set of constraints, okay? And I think about writing sonnets, which I didn't do well back in high school, but I wrote them anyway, and it made me appreciate obviously the Shakespearean sonnets. And I would say constraints don't necessarily make things the same. Great writers will transcend those checklists and still write great articles. Will AI write great articles? I don't think AI will ever write great articles. But hopefully a great writer will see through that, and we have an example of that shortly coming up. So, as Jano put it recently, you are recursively optimizing a very small corpus till it's all just word soup. And I say that's on you, Mr. Writer person. It reminds Tom of Ian Whitworth's description of AI's generated content as infinite words nobody wants. And I guess on this show I sort of see more and more articles about direct mail that sound like word soup, that aren't persuasive, that aren't insightful, that are just a list of reasons why AI is wonderful, or reasons why direct mail is wonderful, or both. And direct mail total circulation keeps dropping. Okay, last week I would say I had mail in my mailbox 2 days out of 5, which is not that I deserve to be mailed. I don't buy much. Just me in my office. But nevertheless, Jano says that it's a race to the bottom, and AI makes this accelerated. Remember who the real audience is and the problems you can help them solve. And that may be your problem. Maybe you're a writer that doesn't really know how to solve problems. Maybe you've never solved a problem. Maybe you're a coach that has never really had a team. I took a very expensive coaching seminar. It's about $5,000. And it made me think that I could probably write a seminar better. But they said the advantage of coaching is that you let the players tell you what they need to do. And it's sort of like the psychologist who you say, Doc, I think I have a problem. Well, what makes you think so? Well, X. Well, why does X bother you? Or whatever, The lost art of writing is important in communication, okay? But the path of least resistance is to turn it all over to AI. Ann Hardley, who we're going to go to next, who kindly wrote the foreword to Tom's last book, has an insightful newsletter, which we're going to go to, called Total Anarchy. And of course, total anarchy is impossible, right? You can't break all the rules, right? Even that title has content in it. It makes sense. You can't, it's like anarchists unite. You'll never get off the page. But whatever, maybe it's mostly anarchy. But I read one of the newsletters that Tom's referring to, and it's mostly not anarchy. So she has a few suggestions. One is start with pen and paper. Boy, I do that in meetings. I take notes in pen because I think it's a lot less intrusive, especially in real life meetings, where you're sitting across the table. Taking notes is not seen as a barrier, but putting up a tablet or a computer is, right? And I think rightly so, because if I'm not watching your screen, you're probably checking your mail or watching a YouTube video and not taking notes. Whereas with writing, you can actually see that I'm tracking with you. Okay, don't worry about the writing. You're welding the scaffolding for ideas that will become writing. Okay, so she focuses a lot of energy on getting started. But she says, writing with pen and paper, you write slower than you type, and your brain has to wait patiently for your hand to catch up. That slow pace ultimately delivers better insights. Is that true? Is that true? I don't know. I don't know if it's true. I actually like talk to text, especially for getting started. You can throw a lot of stuff down. And ultimately, writing without better insights really doesn't have much of a reason for being. And I would agree with that. And here are a few related cartoons. I love this one. AI turns the single bullet point into a long email I can pretend I wrote. And the recipient says, AI makes a single bullet point out of this long email I can pretend I read. I've never used it that way, but it seems like a fun way to use it, right? Okay, so anyway, we're doing well. We're only at 6 minutes. Okay. Buy bots for bots. The good news is we're getting lots of engagement in our AI-generated content. Amazing. What's the bad news? It looks like most of that engagement is coming from AI-generated traffic. Absolutamente bien. AI-generated sameness, February 2023. That's not long ago. AI has revolutionized the way we create unique content for our audiences. Great point. AI has revolutionized the way we create unique content for our see more. Great point. AI has revolutionized the way we create unique content for our see more. Great point. AI has revolutionized. Great point. AI has revolutionized. Great point. AI has revolutionized the way. They're all letting AI reply to their Zoom meeting. And I've heard of people. Consumers want communication that is human, empathetic, and real. So hopefully our AI can learn to generate content like that for them. Yeah, okay, right. Okay, so let's get over to Anne. Anne Handley, Total Anarchy, says start with pen and paper. Right, and if this were Total Anarchy, of course, it would be unreadable, but it isn't. And then I set a bookmark so I could get to the point here, because it goes down a few pages, more than a few. 5 years ago, when I launched the fortnightly newsletter about writing and marketing, it took me 8-ish hours. Now I write it in half that time. How did I cut that? How did I cut the time in half? Generative AI, right? No. And not more espresso, right? Although that would have been an idea. I'm going to just make this a little bigger so I can read it more easily. Shift, Control, Shift plus. There we go. I think it'll still fit on the page for you all. Yeah, this is on my laptop, so it's even harder to read. Okay, start with pen and paper, and we've already covered that one. Stop trying so hard. Don't think that you're Michelangelo trying to sculpt David, right? Or you can't make a mistake, or David will have no arms. Use your paper outline as a guide and write as fast as you can. She has some other ideas at the end that are pretty good. She uses the Pomodoro technique, which I'm pretty sure you know. That's the 20 minutes, take a short break, 20 minutes, take a short break, 20 minutes, take a short break, or 25 minutes, some do. And then you take a long break, okay? I use something like that sometimes, when I say, well, I don't have time to start the writing, I'll sometimes look at the thing and say, well, I've got at least 20 minutes. Build a tiny house, which she actually has a literal tiny house, but a place where you write and have no distractions. And the trouble I have is I'm generally writing. For me, the easiest place to write is, I have notebooks on notebooks, but the best place for me is on Google Docs, because then it's on my laptop, it's on my desktop, it's wherever I am. I can even read it on my phone if I want to just quickly look it over. Shorten your sentences. This one's a little controversial. She basically says always use short sentences, but I read recently that psychologically your brain likes variety, and so you should actually make some long sentences and some short, and she does that right here. Look at that. That one is a very, very, very long sentence. That's all one sentence. That would be, I think, a little bigger than I would ever do. But she has that very long sentence, then a bunch of punchy sentences. And then she has this one. That one is still a long sentence, but she breaks it up. Okay? And then she talks about AI and asks it to read her words, or you can use the first draft and toss it out. She says she listened to Lauren Groff, who told the New York Times that she starts with something. When she starts a new novel, she writes it all out in longhand in large spiral notebooks, and after she completes the first draft, she puts it in a banker's box and never reads it again. Then she'll start the book over, still longhand, working from memory. But the idea is that this way, only the best and most vital bits survive. So she self-edits by doing it from memory. Longhand, large notebooks, work from memory. Holy meerkats. And then Anne says, she says that's pretty good. She needed to write a foreword to a research project, so she dumped the whole research project finally in frustration into AI, and 3 seconds later she had a foreword in her hands. She read it and printed it out and crumpled it up and threw it away because she said it showed me that I was better than that. I'm better than ChatGPT. I had ideas. I had a clear point of view. You got this, it said to me. AI can be an incredibly useful tool, but where it really helps is when it reminds us of the power of our own voices. In other words, maybe for a summary, maybe for bullet points or something, maybe for a starting point. I used it a couple of weeks ago. I was working on a flyer to HVAC, and I asked Bing, I think, because that one's free. I asked it what were the main challenges, marketing challenges that HVAC companies faced. It didn't give me the right answer, but it did give me a few answers to think about. And then I wrote the one I wanted, because I knew what I wanted to say. Okay, and in conclusion, let's see if we got enough time to get 10 minutes. Nope, I'm already 12 minutes, so I can't go on. But Bob Bly says, when someone asks you for advice, ask them if they really want advice, or do they really just want you to listen? And probably they don't want advice, they just want confirmation of their own opinion. The problem with giving advice, even when asked for it, is you don't know the context, you don't know all the facts, you don't know the emotions, you don't know the risks, and so best to not give the advice, even when asked for it. That's Bob's advice. But I didn't ask you for it. And that article, along with the other two, are in the show notes on WDMA.org, which you can get to free. We also do a daily podcast, which is on Shopify and Google Podcasts and a bunch of others. And if you can't find it, let me know. But we always boil it down so that you can listen at double speed and get it under 20 minutes. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Oops, let's finish off with this one. Okay, we'll finish off with a fish burger. Bye-bye.